welcome. Hopefully we have audio. Hopefully everything is good. To episode number 91, I believe, of Guerrilla Radio Live. I'm Joe Caprino, and I have Mike Reiser, softball dad extraordinaire here.
Yes, dad, coach, statistician,
Everything.
Uber driver, chef, everything, man. It's been a long summer.
Yes, it's almost over, right?
No, we just start right back up. We take like 2 weeks off, and we're like right back at it now. We're gonna start playing. I think hopefully at the end of September we'll be playing in Peoria. Maybe. You never know how Illinois does. Indiana's a little bit more loose with their rules. I mean, I know you're not gonna agree with me, but
that's interesting. That Illinois is. After seeing everything going on around here. So I'm trying to get my Facebook stuff all in. Hopefully people can hear us. What is going on here?
I'm sure if they can't, they'll let us know.
Yes, well, I can't. I gotta re-log into Facebook and all that because it's been such a long time. We have a decent week coming up here. Mike, shoot. I have to relog into everything. So, how's the summer been? I guess give us an update on the softball stuff.
Yeah, it's good. We had to go to Florida. The girls, we played in Panama City Beach, so different. Just a different vibe, which was a really cool experience. I think just like everybody else, it's been like It's been weird, with the COVID and things being shut down. And I think our last show was like right at the beginning of all that when we did some of the team states, or not the team stuff, but the ISWA stuff. That was really like the beginning of everything,
Yes.
We lost a good chunk in there, and so like softball. obviously like not to the extent of some of the high school seniors that lost, baseball seasons, track, softball. Softball was hit pretty hard by that. I'm trying to think what else would be one of those like spring sports that, a lot of seniors didn't get to compete, and a lot of, people graduating. Like obviously that's a big part. They didn't get to walk. We lost Fargo. They weren't able to do that this year. So definitely a crazy time. It's never happened during my life, 37 years, so.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting summer and stuff. See, my audio is scratchy. Keep it right.
Yeah, but like where like some of the, I don't know, it's exciting. I know Indiana's kind of going. It seems like some of their sports. I know some of the sports have shut down. I know some of the football programs in the region have, kind of shut down, which is, difficult for those guys, especially the seniors in that, and, but where other states like Illinois are shutting down, you're starting to hear rumblings of guys coming over, which is exciting if you're a fan of the sport and you want to see more depth for Indiana. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like some guys are coming back and possibly wrestling in Indiana, so that will be that'll add a little kink to everything.
I was talking to someone today. Therethere's this tea place that me and Kim like to go to, and one of the girls in there, we're in Lowell, obviously. I was wearing a wrestling shirt. She's like, "Oh, do you know the Stanleys?" I said, "Yeah, I know Joe and those guys, and obviously Evan's competing in the Indiana mat." And she's like, "Oh, I think he's gonna be really good." We're just kind of talking, and she was saying like, "Oh, he could be maybe like the next Drew Hughes or Jake Tucker." And Jake Tucker was a guy that went over to Illinois, where you always wonder like, how would he have done in Indiana? Or a guy like Jose and Carlos Champagne, how would they have done if they competed in Indiana? Or Colton Drusus, guys that were region guys that went across the border and competed. Some of those guys maybe are coming back now, or some of the guys that maybe they're worried that Illinois is not going to have a year are going to find some homes in Northwest Indiana. Or I said like if Michigan and Ohio shut down, Fort Wayne might go from struggling to get medalists to getting loaded real quick.
Yes, very much so. And I mean, yeah, Michigan. Um, I know Michigan has been. They just opened up football. One of the guys that was petitioning to get in because they shut down football, then they reopened it. So that's very interesting to watch.
Summer then,
that kind
I
of
guess.
stuff. Hold on a second. I'm kind of trying to see if I can see the comments because I cannot get the Facebook comments on the side to go get up. So
Yeah, I think so. I think that's really been. It's scary. I mean, obviously there's like a scariness to it. I think
Just a moment.
my Alexa's going on, so I think it's like one of those things. Like it could be scary, and I think there's a lot of uncertainty. Even like people that have had the COVIDs or recovered, like they started finding out they have like heart issues and stuff. My brother had it real bad. He recovered, thankfully, but I think he was one of those guys that was saying he had it like in January. I was like real sick. I think, and then he got it, and then
Just a moment.
he struggled like walking up and down the stairs at his house and things like that. So definitely, like I said, crazy, man. It's a crazy time.
yes, it is. So I guess we'll talk about IPO. I can't get the comments to go. Maybe I will try it a little bit later. Yeah, with that, I was very close to canceling it. I'm sure people kind of got that hint on the social media and stuff. And talking to our athletic director, I was like, are we gonna be able to have that Carol? And he's like, we're not allowing outside groups, especially you're talking 1,000, 1,200 people coming in the building, and definitely has like, oh crap. I can't, the Coliseum is really expensive, and, talking to a couple other people, got some ideas of some places we might be able to have it. Even looked into the place over in Hammond. Ended up just talking to them a little bit. It sounded like it was a little too small for what we needed. And then, so talked around here, end up went and visiting at the Plex. That's where we're having it. Real nice facility.
They play a lot of softball there in the winter.
Yeah, yep. It's a big, basically the size of a football field in there. Very spacious. Everyone can spread out, socially distant themselves from each other. So that'll be good. But yeah, there's some things that I'm concerned a little bit about, but I think people will understand and hopefully not complain too much. So
I've never been in that facility, but I assume it's similar to like what we have in Northwest Indiana, the Sparta Dome. Is it like one door in, one door out, basically?
yeah, it's a revolving door. It's a bubble. You can't like in order like when we're gonna have to get the mats in, they have a garage door, so one goes up, one goes down, and then you can get the stuff in because they say that bubble will go down pretty fast from what it sounds like.
We had our dome in Northwest Indiana, like during those storms, like caught a hole in the top. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Next going to Carmel? No one even told us, man.
What?
It's in the comments.
What? Man, these comments. I need to get these comments going. Man, Nick's not going to tell us things like this.
Nick's just like commenting here to himself.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. No. Yeah. This is the one of the people that I'm working with. The thing she said that she was in there. They have two domes. They have a big and a small one, and she said she was in the one when it started storming, and it ended up getting a little rip and coming down. She said it went fast, so that's kind of crazy to see and hear about that kind of stuff. So I'm like, oh great, now we got to worry about a storm and stuff. So
hey Troy, yeah,
you can't
obviously and there's a lot of tough decisions that go into it. I know that's kind of been one of the things that I've heard about, and we've talked in the group text and things like that.
Working with it, she said that.
But like the amount of people that you're allowed to have,
a small one.
She said before it was just like let's see how many people we can get there. But luckily you guys done a good job with the media side of it and getting like tracked there, so you can. For rankings wise, like I don't have anybody I'm going there to watch live. I know friends and family go there, but for me, like seeing matchups, it's easier for me to watch on track. But I guess a little bit of that, right? Like you allow two people, or
two people per person, so that basically gets you a coach and one of your parents. I know that's a tough decision in some places, and it was not an easy decision. I mean, I was looking, okay, what can we get one in, and then I was like, that's going to be a disaster, trying to have one per person. So we allowed two, and it is what it is. Taking a pretty big risk with everything, so it's one of those things that
Yeah.
I gotta minimize my risk as much as possible. So,
Well, I think there's a lot of times where like obviously people see like the visual side, like with the site, and we do these Google Hangouts, or now they're not Google Hangouts anymore. They're just Gorilla Radios, but like they think that's like a personal decision. Like you're the dictator saying like that this is going to happen. But I think there's a lot that has to go into that to even have an event like this. Obviously, I think the King of the Ring, which was in Hammond, that was like one of the bigger like events I was able to go, and Kevin got that pulled off and had Flo there, but I think they had a limit of people that can go in also, right?
yeah, they had. I want to say, from what I could see, it was you basically had your coach, your like two or three coaches, and like a table worker that got in. So that was probably what you had to do. I mean, that's a lot easier when you're talking a dual tournament than it is an individual tournament where there might be one kid from your team or 16 from your team.
Yeah.
So come in. So
Pretty nice facility there they got at Hammond, though, man. I'm telling you, I got to see it before it was open. Kim helped build that thing. She was in there hammering nail.
That's good.
She was telling people to hammer nail. That was her job. Telling them, hey, like this needs to go here. So I know it's well built.
Yeah. I don't know why this thing's not going. It's driving me nuts. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So there's a lot of things I had to go through the Department of Health. That's what took a little bit longer than and get that approved. And I know they're excited to have an event in in Fort Wayne. I mean, it's going to bring a lot of money to the local economy. Obviously, people staying in hotels, eating out, getting gas, doing whatever. So, and hopefully everything goes well.
Get out of here! That's a little bit more handsome for Wheeler Wrestling.
Oh, Wheeler!
I got to put on these COVID pounds.
Yeah.
But like that's like one of the big things too. Like I don't think that obviously we're only looking through the wrestling spectrum, but like it does bring a lot of money to the economy in Fort Wayne.
Yeah. So and we added 100 more kids this year, so that and it felt sold out in 2 weeks, which is crazy to think.
Yeah, I think that's crazy too. Like when we were talking about where it started at to where it's at now.
We had more entries the first day than we had in the whole tournament the first year.
Yeah,
that's what's like. It's amazing. So yeah,
it's high quality kids. It's not it's not like, hey, I'm gonna go beg my JV backup to come out here and compete so we can fill a bracket. You're getting like just kind of like even going over the list of entries. Like even the guys that are not on the stud list are guys that are in the rankings, or they're on the watch list, or you have some young guys that are going to come in there and make a splash. 8th graders going into high school, or even some younger guys that are not even high school ready yet are going to go in there and compete. So that's always exciting to me, is like who's going to make that splash. Jesse did. I know you had put Jesse's hit list up there of everyone that he had wrestled there. Even as like a 7th grader, 8th grader, he was wrestling. I think he beat Jake Moran before he was even in high school, and Jake went on to win a state title that year.
Yeah. His hit list was just so far is just crazy. That's one of those things that you look at and like he needs to obviously add some, like you said, there's a lot of Indiana guys on there, not very many out of state guys, and might get we'll talk about that in a little bit, but definitely might be adding a pretty good hit list guy to the list this year from out of state. You got a huge group of guys, 15, 16 from Arizona coming, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a club school out of Arizona, and why is this not working? It's driving me nuts. It's called Valiant College Prep, and they weren't in their high school state series last year. They weren't in the preps. I don't know exactly what went on with why they aren't, but they're coached by Eric Larkin, who's an NCAA champ, I think, for Arizona State. So definitely looking forward. They're bringing some hammers. So I'm kind of excited to see what they see what they bring.
Yeah. I mean, you're coming from across the country. You're thinking you're gonna come, not just stay in the beautiful Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yes, yes, yeah. They're coming. The Fort Wayne Airport's going to be pretty busy. I was a kid from California registered, so kind of just looking forward to seeing quite a uh, big representation from across the country. So um, yeah,
Did do you feel like this year you have a wider spread because of the COVID and all the events kind of being shut down, and this is like one of the, you know, a good national list that's coming up. Things that where people normally maybe they would go to some of the other like preseason stuff, but since everything has kind of been down, do you think this is like a bigger like pool of guys? Or do you think it's just a growth of the tournament?
yeah, definitely. There hasn't been a Fargo. There wasn't a junior cadet duels events where these guys are getting good quality matches, and they're going to get a lot of times. Even our Indiana guys are using this as a tune-up for Super 32 and other events that are coming up. So it's going to be, I think a lot of guys are coming here to get some mat time, see some, we have usually good exposure with college coaches. D1 guys can't come. Obviously, I know I'm 100% positive there's going to be a lot of D1 coaches watching. So,
Yeah.
and then I know we haven't had as many college coaches, and I know I talked to one today that said that they're not letting him recruit out of state. So, but he said, but he's going to be watching, and he got all the database information. So, which that's probably going to be the thing right now. I'm sure a lot of schools are just so locked down and stuff. Trine's coming down to help run the tables, and definitely need to give a shout out to Indiana Tech. Trine had a few kids that have to quarantine, and so they're Indiana Tech is going to fill in a couple mats. So definitely give a shout out to Coach Pompey, who has stepped up to the plate. And I caught him late last week and said, "Hey, I might need you guys. Would you guys be interested in helping fill a couple mats for me?" He's like, "Oh, no problem." So
Which is pretty cool, man. I mean, I don't know how a lot of the other tournaments do it, the biggest ones, but that you're having college level guys that are running the table. I think they know like the level of wrestling and like how important that is.
yeah, and a lot of those guys, probably on both teams, have wrestled in the tournament, which is kind of cool. So, and that is that they do get paid. That the school, we do give them a nice little donation for their time and stuff. So it's a win-win. It's the best investment I've ever made at the tournament, is not having to worry about table help, which is always hard to find and stuff, and begging people to do it. And so that was one of my best investments ever.
I thought it was when you had me call those like 3 matches last year before they went live, or the year that you had me and Road Rock
Yes.
doing the live go, Nick in the cage, man.
Yes. Yeah, we need.
I thought that was the best investment.
Yeah, that was a good investment, but
I think I did it for
your investment's been a long-term investment.
Yeah, I think I did it for a slice of pizza and a T-shirt that day. Not bad.
you get more than just one T-shirt though.
Yeah, I got a nice little one.
Yeah.
Troy said how many states are represented?
I think 17. Look, I do have. See, people would probably laugh, but they probably, because enough people know me well enough that know that I am very anally retentive about things, and I have a spreadsheet that is just stupid. 17. Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, Kentucky, Wisconsin, Missouri, Michigan, Florida, Pennsylvania, Maryland. It's first year for Maryland, Tennessee, Iowa, Arizona, first year for Arizona, Virginia, Colorado, Georgia, and California. It's first year for California. We have had
24. I think you put like a. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry. We had.
I see you put up a map of the United States of all the states that are represented. Like weirdly, like Nebraska is not represented. It's like Iowa, Nebraska's blank, and then it's like the next side. Then it's like someone else.
Yeah. It's a matter. The thing is, I only advertise really on Kentucky's website and Ohio's website with the tournament information. So that stuff gets out pretty quickly. Michigan doesn't have a message board or anything. Illinois got shut down or something right after I posted. I probably crashed it. So, but yeah.
That used to be one of the best sites too, man. That's disappointing if you crashed it.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't checked it lately, but, and then so far there have been 24 states that have had, plus Canada, that have had a kid in the event. over the years. So that's kind of neat. Hopefully we can get to 50 someday. Hawaii, Alaska, come on down.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like if I lived in Hawaii, that's what I want to do. Come to Fort Wayne.
Yeah, Fort Wayne, vacation capital of the world.
Yeah.
Now, it is Jeremy. It is at capacity. No more people will be added. We had our 750 plus our 25 petitions, which were pretty hard to do.
Yeah.
24 state level kids that had already accomplished that, and a couple kids declined. One kid, like I said earlier, had was a state qualifier placer in Michigan playing football. I think he said Dad said he was a quarterback, and they shut football down. So he's like, "Oh, well, might as well go wrestle," and then they end up opening it back up. So, so yeah, we had some really good kids petition in. So, kind of unfortunately, if you didn't get in, the answer is no. It's closed. We're moving on. I'm creating weigh-in cards and stuff. So, so it's a lot of fun. But
Yeah. So like how like so what's the number of registrants that you could have? Like what, like how many people are the, like when you before you open it up to petitions?
750 was our limit, and then I added 25 positions, and those are usually, as I was telling you, there's going to be a lot of kids. I don't know how many will drop out this year, but usually we have about 7-8% that drop out that don't come for whatever reasons. So we usually factor that in there. This year, I wouldn't be surprised if that's real low, but at the same time, you never know since we.
Well, it could be high too. You know, we're living like a crazy time where, you know, if your house gets quarantined, you're not going to send a kid there. You have no clue. But like the level of like guys that are petitioning, it's not like, hey, like I was fifth in the sectional, can I get in? I missed my cutoff. It's more like, hey, like I have a state medal, like can I get in, right?
Yeah, yes. The first year we did petitions, it was, splitting hairs between regional qualifiers, and now I'm trying to figure out, last man in. And I was texting you a little bit. We had about 3 or 4 guys I was going back and forth with, and it was not an easy decision. You don't want to leave a kid that could, make a deep run in this event out of the tournament. So, I mean, my guess, my only comment is don't put it in my hands.
Yeah, and we talked about that too. Like, especially, and then if you're from Hawaii, let's say, like, there's no one there from Hawaii, and you're like, hey, I just found out about this tournament. I love wrestling. I'm a state medalist. Can I come to your tournament? Like, I get that. Like, I'm guessing like Hawaii is not getting a lot of Indiana mat. But like if you're an Indiana kid and you're not registering like right away, like you understand like this fills up so fast. Like it's and even to that you put kind of a countdown on there, like hey, 50 spots left, 25 spots left, and I don't think those are like bluffs. It's not like that like energy bill. You're not getting like all the different colors before they cut you off.
Yeah, exactly. Very good analogy. I don't think I've ever had that, but
well, some of us have, all right, Joe?
Nice to know. So, it's, it was not easy. I don't like telling people no. I know some people have been asking me, some very good wrestlers have been asking me this weekend, and I had to say no. I mean, the guys out of, if it was within the petition period, it's an automatic, here's the link to sign up, so that's not easy, but it's a standard no. That makes it that's the easy part, is just say no and not having to look at it any deeper. Just so if you next year, remember, if you want in, register early.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think that's like the thing of it is like, there's coaches there's watching, like this is going to be good competition. Like there's not like a guy that you walk away like, oh, that was a guy that had like a really good day. He's not very good. Like guys that are not very good that have good days like are usually like in the top like 10, not in the top like 3. There's a lot of guys that are having state level experience, state champs. I mean, we're like last year. There's a bunch of guys that were state champs in there that were winning it.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be hard. I guess we can start talking a little bit about I do want to say 2 things and so everyone kind of knows, and I can limit a few questions, but our seed, everyone's asked when seeds come out. It's technically not seeded, it's separated. And the easiest way to say that is we group guys up by state champion, that's one group, or IHPO champion, IHPO placer, 2nd through 4th, or state 2nd or 3rd. state placer 6 to 8, and then state qualifier, and then I have a little bit of an other criteria in case there's like a freshman or someone that's pretty solid that I want to at least get a little separated. But they're all getting in those groups. And if there's 4 state champions, those are going to be the top 4 seeds. The program will separate them randomly, and then if there's say 2, that level 2, that would be the 4 or 5, 6 seeds, and it kind of goes down there. So we separate them, but we don't. It's seeded, but it's I call it separation because I don't have to deal with it. The main reason is I don't want to have to distinguish an Arizona State champion versus an Indiana State champion versus an Ohio State placer, and be like, I'm not gonna pull my hair out. I don't have much left anyway to pull out. So
I seen a picture of you the other day with a lot of hair, man. That was a little throwback. That was a little throwback for the anniversary, man. Congratulations.
Yes. So yeah. But yeah, so that's how we do that. And then on top of that, Ohio canceled their state finals last year. So I got some good information from a trusted source. So I bumped a lot of those Ohio guys up, probably about half of them, to a little bit placer level, just so you guys know if you see a guy in there that from Ohio that says he's a state qualifier, but he probably would have placed anywhere. So
do you get a lot of people that message you and ask you like, well, my kid beat, I don't know, Logan Miller last summer, like he should be seated ahead of him, but like you're saying, it's just based on your like state experience.
I get a few of those. Usually I just say that we're not gonna go through 80 some kids in a weight class and find all the heads. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
that would be an extraordinary task, doing that for 700 kids. And then on top of that, when you do that, then someone changes weight or doesn't show up. And one of the reasons we kept I started doing the separation is I used to seed it. I used to go through and manually, seed them. And after weigh-ins, I'd have to make sure that all the seeded guys didn't change weights, so we didn't have 2 number 3 seeds at one weight or whatever. Or kids, if they did drop out, I'd move everyone up. So now I don't have to worry about it. If you move up, your separation stays with you. So Jesse Mendez moves up to heavyweight, he's going to be still state champion level credential. So he'll be the number 1 seed there too. So, so just as an example. So,
so Nick asked like how do you seed incoming freshmen? Like basically like bigger tournaments, right? Like probably like Tulsa, like Fargo, things like that.
Yeah, Tulsa, Fargo, things like that. I talked to a couple of national guys. I sent them the list. I said, are there any of these freshmen that I need to separate? Get them not, like Jesse, I think when he was an 8th grader, I knew he was real good, and he ended up winning. I ended up giving him like a state 6 to 8. I think I was like, I don't know. I can't really, looking at the, he had like Moran, who was pretty good. He had a couple other real good guys in that weight class. I'm like, I can't put him over those guys. I think he's on those level, but he almost got to earn it a little bit. So so we Super 32 also is an event we look at, as far as placing and stuff like that they get a little bit of love that way, and also I look at the guy, that guy shouldn't be wrestling number 1 seed first round, round of 64, or actually 128 in some weights. So we're going to, separate those guys, get them separated. Most of the weights are going to have 20 guys that are separated. So you're going to have the round of 32 and there's going to be state qualifiers hitting. So,
but sometimes that slips through too. Like, like someone will come in, they don't put anything down. And then, and I have an incoming freshman. I think like one year, like you had like Ty Mills and like Austin Boone first match.
Yeah. Yes.
So like that slips through.
Awesome seating, yeah. No, I had the one year I had Eric Early and Sawyer Miller wrestle first round because Early signed up late, and usually if they registered late, a walk-in registration, I didn't put anything on them. But I had known Early had been a state placer, and I totally forgot to mark him, and they wrestled first round. So future national champs and teammates.
Do you just get more bang for your buck, right? That's what we tell them in softball. Like when we go into the losers bracket, it's like, well, now we just get more. We're gonna get the most out of our money now.
Yeah, geez, one year I think it was like Caden. I think it was Caden Rooks. It was one of the Rooks brothers. Wrestled like 9 matches in the Constellations.
Cool.
I think that was his freshman year, but So you definitely don't want to do that this year because the 4-hour sessions. That's going to be a lot of wrestling in a short period of time.
So like, how is that working? I know I've talked to a couple people about that. Like, what do you have, like 80 guys per bracket, and you just do it in a 4-hour window, or?
Yeah, we're gonna. We have 3 sessions: Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, and I kind of, doing some numbers, I kind of figured out where I could get, based on weight classes, about 250 kids per session, and then we're gonna run them till we got 12 mats. We're gonna run them till they're done. They'll have a wait time, 15, 20 minutes. I think it's 20 minutes. I think is what we have. So if they, so towards the end, we'll start shutting mats down, but it should go really fast. First night's only 4 weights, but it's a lot of big weights, so they're going to be going. I mean, it's going to go fast. So even those bigger weights are going to be run. You're going to be wrestling that first hour, if not twice in that first hour, depending on how fast things go.
So if you're just showing up this weekend and you haven't wrestled at all and you're out of shape, it's going to be tough.
You're going to hit it.
It's tough regardless.
Yeah.
But like, you're talking like stepping off the mat, hydrating, and going right back at it.
Yes. And there's, I mean, we'll slow it down once we start getting to like the quarterfinals and stuff. But it'll go fast because we're gonna run 12 mats, and we're gonna. I mean, you think of that 64-man bracket. We usually run about 120 matches an hour.
I don't know how good this California kid is, but what if he goes O2 barbecue and he's only there for like 30 minutes?
That would not be good.
That's a lot of America to cover to come wrestle for 30 minutes. I hope that's not the case.
Yeah. I just know the Fort Wayne airport's probably going to be the busiest it's been since COVID started.
Yeah. They should give you a cut, man. They should give you some, some extra drink tickets.
Yeah, yes.
Bump you up.
A Legionnaire, probably, I wouldn't be surprised if the Arizona guys are coming from on Allegiant. Probably single-handedly keeping Allegiant from going bankrupt.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the riskiest flight.
Yeah. So, but
I think they have propellers still, right?
Yeah. Oh goodness, yes. I've flown Allegiant like one time.
They used to fly out of the Gary Airport, so they don't anymore.
That's nice. There's probably
Gary Airport used to have a Hooters flight also, like the Hooters plane. Back before I was able to go take flights, like when I was a younger man than I am now.
Nice. Hooters flight. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Back in the good old days. So let's go down through the weights.
Did you? I'm sorry. I get off topic so much, man. Did you touch on the second thing you said? The first thing was
yes.
And there was a second thing.
The Ohio canceling their state tournament, so we've bumped some guys up seating criteria for them, just so everyone knows and they're not like surprised when they see those guys. There's a lot of good Ohio guys here, so I don't want to kind of screw them over too much. I want them to come back because they're real tough. So, I think that's all I had to say as a heads up.
Cool. That's all you had to say about that, huh?
Yes. Wrong spreadsheet. So, we have. Let's see. Man, I keep pulling up the wrong thing. How many? Yeah, we had like 235.
So they said like you might have some flight delay, so buffer that in there.
Yes.
Jeremy Baker said.
That's most likely yes. But there's only.
When we took the flight to London for the Olympics, we had like a long delay, but it's because they found like the safety window didn't close all the way.
Oh,
and I thought this was the craziest thing. Like looking back, I still think it's crazy. Everyone that was in the waiting area that was on boarding, they were like freaking out and getting pissed, and they were saying they wanted a refund, they wanted all this extra stuff, and I was like, thank God that we found out like this window didn't close on the ground and not above the Atlantic Ocean. Like, you think these arms are good for swimming? They're not.
Yes. Yeah, that's not somewhere. I don't know.
No.
Are not. Yeah. You
see what happened to Jack Dawson, right? They didn't look like a lot of fun in the movie Titanic.
Yes. So, based on what I have found, I'm summing up everything. My fun spreadsheet's 206. That's not right. We have way more than that. Um, we have a lot of guys on the. Oh, jeez. No, that's that's why that's there. We have 234 state qualifiers or placers, which is just crazy. Why am I missing a weight class? Anyway, that's why 123. That's what I'm missing. Yeah, of course that's one of the biggest.
Are you whispering?
Classes.
You like
No,
cut out, man.
sorry.
Are you like
I'm kind of talking to myself a little bit.
Oh, I thought you were just whispering.
No, I was kind of semi talking. 234 guys on our stud list. I think I might have added one or two other guys that kind of moved, that notified me later that they had state qualifier credentials that I didn't flag. So quite a bit. 28 at 135. So that's
Not bad.
Yeah, that means the round of 32 is going to be pretty much all state qualifiers hitting each other. So you get one free. The state qualifiers and placers get one free round, and then they're starting to hit each other, which is crazy. So that's obviously if everyone shows up. So might as well just go 109 on, and then should be some good guys here. Got a lot of diversity. There's 5 state placers, 1 state champ from Michigan, state runner up from Florida, and then Arizona and Ohio state thirds, and then another.
Are all these guys brothers? Like, what are their names? Like Guanajuato?
Yeah, Guanajuato. Yeah, there's like 4 of them that registered. I assume they're brothers. That's not a common name. So yeah, they're all coming from Arizona, and they're all pretty good. They actually wrestled in their state series last year. They're wrestling for that Arizona school, so I don't know if they are actually in that school or just wrestling for that club. But yeah. Okay. And then you had some pretty good guys from Indiana. Evan Dickey, Hayden Brady, Johnny Cortez are pretty tough. That Max Hermes from Ohio is pretty good from what I remember. I think he was projected to win state. So I think he has a little bit higher credential than the others. You probably look it up real quick. Yeah.
I think 109 is always like one of the ones that's always crazy because you're going to have like some incoming freshmen that are going to be able to make some noise, and then you have guys that are returning it that way. Like this would be Johnny Cortez's third year at 109.
Yes. I was kind of surprised. It's always interesting to see where people are, especially since we haven't seen anyone forever. Some guys that we probably thought were going to be at least moving up to 113, and they're sitting down there going down to 109. So I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of guys moving up the day of. There's 89 guys at the weight class right now, which is crazy. So it'll be interesting to see who all makes the weight. And then they got to turn around. They're wrestling Saturday night. Sorry. So they're going to be, getting right on that scale. So if they're pulling hard, they might get burnt by that. So we'll have to see, definitely keep an eye on that if they're pulling weight hard here. Any other guy? I mean, there should be some pretty good wrestlers. Obviously, Arizona is not the toughest state in the union, but they have some pretty good guys. I mean, guys like Roman Bravo Young. There's a Ramon Ramos that's pretty tough. They have a lot of really good guys, so it's going to be interesting to see how good these guys really are. Coming from Ohio, a little bit of jet lag. I don't know when they're coming in, so it should be interesting to see how they do. Guys like Dickey, Brady, and Cortez are all pretty tough guys that could place here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't have the registrant list in front of me, but I know, like I had talked to Joe Stanley. Evan had just went up to Wisconsin. He's in there. He's a 7th grader, so I know they're excited to get in there. I'm sure there's some other incoming freshmen that will probably be in that mix.
Yeah, definitely. Those are the ones I had. I think that all have seating criteria. I can look that up real quick. I probably should. There's a couple of them that I put in there that gave them that other ranking just for just so that they would get. No, I did not give none of the. Yeah, there's some good kids in there. I'm pretty positive. I don't know a lot of the names they didn't put anything down, so it's kind of hard to tell. And from my experts that I talked to, they didn't really point anyone out. That's pretty tough. They're at 109.
Who's your best expert? I didn't give you any information on anybody, so except for the final vote.
There are a couple. National ranking guys. I'll give you that much.
Okay.
People can probably figure out who that. I don't want to reveal them. They might be on someone's
Top
hit list.
people. Is that what you're saying? Top people?
Yes, guys that know the ins and outs of the sport and kind of know all these incoming freshmen that are on their list of guys to watch, and their the recruiting rankings and stuff like that. So.
So if you're in the comment section, shout it out who's going to be one of the sleepers, so we know. So I know what to look for when I'm on the track.
Yes. What did Brady say? Do you give awards for being the? No, we don't.
For what?
For the Brady asked if you give awards for the tallest 106 pounder or 109 pounder. So,
yeah. We should.
You got to make the weight first. No. So yeah, that should be a good weight class. Definitely some guys that we'll keep an eye on there.
I knew Hector had one for us.
The Wertman guy.
Yeah.
Wertman. Yeah, he's that state champion from Michigan. So yeah, there's a lot of 11th graders. There's what 6 11th graders, 7, and throwing a senior from Ohio. There's a lot of kids must not have grown during quarantine. Must have stunted their growth.
They didn't get to quarantine 15. All right. Hey, shout out to my dude Hector though, man. He lost 45 pounds. I seen him at the fantasy football draft, looking good, man.
That's good.
Looking lean and mean, man. I think he was training because I put him on the fantasy football last year. I don't think I drafted as good this year. I drafted Cosgrove's team and it's really good, and I feel like I drafted my own team and it's trash. It's garbage.
Well, just you probably have Cosgrove's email and stuff. Just switch the team names and then
we're in different leagues. Different leagues.
Oh, different leagues. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So, 113 or 116. It's hard for me to. Which is all the weights are +3. By the way, if everyone figures that out. 3 state champs. Headline here. You got Davian Guanajuato. I should be able to pronounce that. Logan Miller, Spencer Moore. Miller and Moore were returning placers. Moore won it last year from Kentucky. He's real good.
Yeah.
He is real tough. And then you got Miller was third here last year, state champion. Throw in guys like Lane Gilbert, who I thought was a pretty big 13-pounder last year. Justin Bradford from Tennessee was a state runner-up. Mason Bruh. Man, Ohio. Then we got a little ringer coming in here. KT Nelson making an appearance.
Last former champ too.
Yep. So he'll get that seeding separation. Definitely interested to see how he is. He was originally registered at 23, so he changed weight. So we'll see if that, see if he obviously makes it, like everyone else. But that's he's definitely a ringer in there. That's a landmine you don't want to wrestle. He's real tough. You got some Ohio guys, some Kentucky, got a Wisconsin State qualifier. A lot of pretty solid guys in there. How did I do these Ohio guys? I was curious of how I did these Ohio guys. Couple Mason Bruh I have him projected a little bit higher. Gavin Caprella, Colin Mellert, and then I got them guys about 4 or 5 on their seating area, so they're pretty solid. They would have probably finished 4th or 5th in the state of Ohio, which is always pretty tough. So, but yeah, definitely the Miller, Moore, and then obviously the Arizona kid was a state champ last year. So, you're gonna have somebody possibly not place as a state champ.
Yeah.
So, any other comments on there? I know you're looking at the stud list. And there's some guys that change weights that I have not updated that. So
I think KT would be interesting. I don't know if he competed last year, but obviously he wrestled at the Indiana Mat Open. He lost to Sergio Lemley, and then basically, we didn't see him for a year, so hopefully he's rested up and ready to come back and compete. Obviously, a guy that can make an impact. He's already won it once.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean that's if he's training hard, he's as good as any of those guys. I mean, he's very talented and definitely won that in the 2-on-1 matches. I mean, and we could probably talk about this forever. That if all you need is one takedown. If you're stingy on giving up takedowns, you get one takedown, one escape. If you can ride for that minute and get that escape, win 1-0 in these close matches, these quick matches, that's a huge advantage. So, 123 has 28 state qualifiers or placers, which is just
Yeah.
That's stupid.
This was the one I looked at and I was like, really? I was like, man, this is a pretty good bracket here.
Yeah, you have 5 state champions. So that means one state champion at least will not place in this tournament. That's crazy. You got John Brannaman from Georgia. He wrestles out of school in Tennessee. Phoenix Blakely, who is a Illinois state champ. Santonio Robinson, who is from Illinois, wrestled in Missouri, won a state title there. Sergio Lemley. This is a weight class of everyone's not wrestling in their home state.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool, man. Like, not that I think it's cool that Sergio doesn't wrestle in Indiana, because I think that's pretty exciting that, he's a guy that could make a real impact in Indiana. But I think it's cool that a lot of those guys are from different states wrestling in different areas.
Yeah. Sergio, state champion in Illinois. Then Cole Thomas, who's another tough Kentucky kid, returning champ. Lemley was, I believe, 3rd here last year. So this is a tough weight. Then you have guys like Cheney Chef.
I think he was runner-up, right?
Yes. Sergio lost. Was he?
In the championship, I thought.
Maybe he did. Yeah, he did, because he wrestled Zeke, right?
I don't know who he wrestled.
Yeah, he had to wrestle Zeke, I believe. Possibly.
I thought Zeke was at 120. Zeke had wrestled Betch.
Yeah, he wrestled Betch. Okay, yeah. Never mind. He had to wrestle Thomas then, Cole Thomas, who won it last year. So that could have a rematch there. It's a loaded weight class. Cheney Chef. You got Logan Frazier. Indiana. You got Illinois. Kentucky runner-up Isaac Thornton. Bryce Lowry, who's pretty tough. Another Guanajuato. Cole Ross, Aiden Sprague, and this whole list is just ugly. Brack Hooper, who is 4th here last year, so he was a state qualifier, so he's going to get a pretty nice little bump, seating wise. But I don't think that's going to help in this weight class.
No, this is like just a loaded all across weight class.
Yeah, and then there's one at the bottom, Caillou Larkin. He's going to get a little bit of a bump. He was he's from Arizona. His dad was NCAA champ that I was talking about, so he's pretty tough. He's done pretty well at Tulsa and that, and definitely he's like on pretty high on the recruiting rankings for incoming freshmen. So definitely one to watch that weight class. I mean, he might be one of the best ones at that weight class as an incoming freshman. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this weight shakes out.
That's definitely a weight to come from Arizona for. Like, if you're going to go compete, I think if you're going to go compete, this is one to show up in, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's a weight you want to come wrestle. So yeah,
I've been seeing Logan Frazier has been doing a lot of fishing this summer. He's been catching a lot of big fish. His fishing game's pretty strong. I don't know if that helps him. Maybe give him a little bit of bump for that.
Yeah, that should be a good one. Hey, it's good social distancing, and if he moves over to Illinois, I think they have a bass fishing state tournament. I think Ohio does too. Indiana's probably one of the last ones to have a bass fishing.
Indiana needs to step their game up, man.
Yeah. So we'll move on. 129. That only has 21 state qualifiers or better. Let's see.
Yeah, but you have a handful of state champs in there.
Yeah. We only have 4 state champs here also. Zeke Seltzer returning champ. You also have Sam Goen, who was returning runner-up. He's up a couple weight classes. He's down there. And you got Emilio Yagare, another tough Arizona kid. Joel Mylan from Illinois. Joe Haynes from Michigan, state champ. Vincent Robinson, who's real good. I know
Yeah.
Coach Seltzer's like, you guys need to separate him and Zeke, and 'cause he's real good. Maddox Blakely, he's another. His brother, I think, is his twin brother. Maybe not, or just his brother, was a state champ there. Michigan runner-up Andrew Hampton, um, Stephen Roberson, Cole Salome, one of your favorite guys. A lot of good guys here, top to bottom. Even like the state qualifiers are pretty tough. This is another top heavyweight class. So I mean, you're talking at least two guys that were in state finals aren't going to place here, also, if not more. So anyone you see, I mean, definitely going to be interesting to see going up from 106. He's up at 129, and you could also run into a Goen versus Roberson match too.
Oh yeah, I think that's like one of those ones you like. This is the term where you're gonna see some teammates go at it. I know Vincent Robinson's really good at. Is he? I know he was like. I know when I talked to McGill, he was like pretty high on him coming out of like middle school. He thought he was really really good. That's the kid at Purdue's brother, right?
Yes, Travis Ford Mountain.
Yeah, Travis Ford Mountain's brother.
I believe so. Yeah. So yeah, he's pretty good. Ford Mountain's a former champ.
Yeah. So a lot of tough guys, but this like 29 is like one of those 29 and I mean I guess 23 are two weights where you start getting a lot more catch weights. Like we were getting guys coming up a couple weight classes, 6, 13. You know, you kind of go to 23. Then you get guys returning. It's like so you see guys like Ethan Higgins and guys like that. I mean Elijah Anthony's coming up a couple weights. So it's pretty. I think that's an interesting weight.
Yeah, definitely. You're going to see. So a few of those guys go and got his he got his code 15 or 20. So
yeah, and I know Sammy. You could tell he was kind of growing during the season.
Yeah.
I think that's like the toughest part when you get these guys coming in with when they're young and you're gonna be like a 6-pounder or 13. You have that opportunity to grow during the season, and you've already committed to that spot. So I'm sure he's probably looking to wrestle up a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. So that's going to be interesting to see. 135. This is going to be another great weight class. There's 28 state level guys here.
And we got our first Maryland representative.
Yes, Richard Fenlin. He wrestles at a prep school there. Placed 5th at Ironman. Placed in Fargo. I think he was like JV for the prep school. But obviously, you place him 5th at Ironman, you're not too shabby. So that's going to be interesting to see how he does. Got Austin Fights from Michigan. Mason Cantu from Michigan, pretty tough. Kyson Montgomery, returning placer. Logan Wagner, who is not afraid to rip your head off.
That was a shocking one for me. Logan Wagner at 35, returning there. I mean, the state series in Indiana, I think that, that's a good spot for him. Obviously we're going to talk about 41 next, but like he's a guy that can win a state title, but it'd be very difficult to win it at 38,
Yeah. This is going to be a real good Indiana weight class. I mean, if these guys all go 32, Montgomery, Wagner, David Pearson, who's placed top 4 like 16 times in his career at state, and will headlock you from every position possible. Gavin Allstott, Christian White, Aiden Torres, Ian Heath, Riakas Shelton, Landon Birch, who's pretty tough. He's a returning placer. You got Isaiah Ponce and Trevor Triana here.
Trevor Triana make the biggest jump, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, he's going up to 6.
T-Pain making that like 30-pound jump. They said he got tall.
Oh, nice. Yeah. No, great family. Always like always like talking to those guys. But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting weight. I know you're probably. This will probably help decide how rankings shake out at 132. Right here.
What? Oh man, I think it's tough because some of those guys at 26 are gonna bounce around, and then you're eventually gonna have some of the 38. Like it happens all the time. Like guys are like, hey, like where can I go get a title and kind of maneuver. And that's a loaded weight class, and those are the weights that end up being like real stacked. It's like, well, you have one dominant guy somewhere else. Not everyone wants to be loud and Swain and get on that vision quest.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got in Indiana, you're gonna have Zeke at 126, and then you're gonna have Jesse at 38. At least that's what it's looking like. So you're going to have those guys pull that extra weight, especially the Wagners, the Ostats, the
Oh,
Montgomerys. They're looking for their title, and that's they're going to be like, I'll pull that extra weight, or I'll
and you'll
come
have
up that
Borman
much.
in there, and you'll have a lot of the Crown Point guys. Honestly, those guys were all right there for a title. They've been working.
Yeah. So yeah.
Uh, so it'll be interesting.
So yeah, that's going to be a fun weight class. Definitely a lot of Indiana flavor there, and especially definitely for rankings purposes, it's going to be one to watch. 141, it might be the highlight weight class to watch. Going to have two nationally ranked guys battling it out. They got only 26 state level guys. Ben Elenis, Jesse Mendez. Elenis was didn't have a state, hasn't wrestled in a state tournament. He's at that school in Arizona. Mendez wrestled Elenis at Flow Nationals uh, last year. So and it was pretty close. It was in freestyle. It was a pretty close match. So Jesse it was close, and I think Jesse kind of poured it on a little bit late. But Linus obviously is pretty good. Should be a great match. I know their coach is looking forward to. I know Jesse's probably looking forward to a nice, good match before who's number one. And then you got Kentucky runner-up Charlie McCune. Got Tennessee runner-up Sean Pitts. A lot of pretty solid guys there. Get to see the return of Blaze Garcia. Ashton Hayhurst is in there. Alec Freeman. The modern day kids like to wrestle each other, I think.
Yeah.
Brody Arthur does not get to wrestle Jesse Mendez first round, by later in the tournament. So,
I don't know why. I don't know why we're breaking it up, man. Yeah, I agree with Joe Butler too. May's pretty tough as an incoming freshman. Is he at 41 also?
I would have to look. I can give you a.
I thought he'd be at. I don't know why I thought he was gonna be at 48, but yeah, it's good to see Blaze back out there. I heard they're trading in their gold and black, so that should be fun. We might have to do a live stream from the duel. I don't know if that's out. They broke that yet or not, but that would be exciting. I was always shocked because, especially on like this one, you would think a lot of the guys that are like trying to make a name would come to this to wrestle Jesse. Jesse's wrestled it every single year, right? And like some of the kids in Illinois that are high level, or some of the kids in Michigan that are high level, like this is a spot where you can go wrestle one of the top guys in the country and not have to go to Fargo or go to Super 32 or who's number one, or not who's number one, but Flow Nationals. You can go to Fort Wayne and wrestle this guy and try to make a name for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of surprised a few more. I know I emailed the Arizona guy. Just had to send him a couple little notes, and I said, kind of looking forward to seeing that match. I know he's like, we're looking forward to it too. And I know, Jesse likes to be pushed. Jesse likes to wrestle. He loves to wrestle. Yeah. He loves to wrestle with kids.
That's a kid that loves to compete, and I think he welcomes that kind of match.
Yeah. And in Ozzy, he's not afraid to take some losses. He went out, he went to who's number one. Then 2 weeks later, last year, went to the Super 32, took a couple losses there. And he was one of like 2 or 3 guys that did both Super 32 and who's number one. So he's not afraid to take those losses and go after those guys. So
just released his college list too. So
yeah,
it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, definitely interesting. It'll be interesting to watch his college choices. He has it narrowed down to about 16 schools, but he's early in that process, and it sounds like they're going to take their time, which is a good thing, and they're not just going to announce tomorrow, which is, especially now they can't even go to the schools to visit and talk to the coaches. So
yeah, but it was good. If May's in that way, that's exciting too, because I want to see where May kind of lands up. That's a guy I'm looking forward to. Another guy, I think he's going to end up at Floyd Central, right? So another guy that can go out, and compete and be in the mix. I think that's a really talented freshman. I know Center Grove had a lot of incoming freshmen. I don't know if they're in the event, but that's a team I was, Swain always does a good job of coaching those guys, and I know he has a good class coming in.
Yeah, definitely. They have a pretty good class. I think they have some guys coming in. But May is one of those ones that I do not have criteria for. I may have to look it over to see if he has something that I can kind of give him a little bit of separation. That way he doesn't run into one of those tough guys first round. He basically fall in there later, but it's one of those things
Well,
Either way, you're going to wrestle some tough kids.
Yeah, at some point you're gonna, that. But that's the exciting part of it. Is you're gonna get to see him against, even if it's a state qualifier caliber kid, a guy that's already qualified, like Bradley Conrad from Portage, who's really good, or Blaze, who's been there and he's been in a lot of good matches, and he's like, got better this summer wrestling, a ton. Like he's one of the guys that gets to be in a room wrestling good. I mean, he lives in a house with a guy that's pretty good that can help him get better.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So should be some good matches there. 148. 100.
We got Ben's in here. Ben said he jumped down because he heard the Nick Carmel rumors, and then he said you have the COVID.
I do not have the COVID. Sorry, Ben's. Dustin Benz didn't know what the Rax was. Okay.
Like Rax, like get money Rax?
No, Rax like the restaurant. That was back in the 80s. Do you know what a Rax was?
No, I had no clue. I thought you were talking about getting Rax, like money.
Oh my goodness. It's like a.
We're living in different worlds right now, Joe.
They must not have had them in the region, but
I lived in Illinois at that time.
My wife didn't know what it was either, but it was like a fast food restaurant. It had like a really crappy buffet, and I don't know. It was,
we used to have Pizza Hut buffets, man, and Ponderosas. You guys used to have Ponderosas?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know they sold steak till I got older.
I'll tell you funny. I went to Ponderosa with my grandpa. That's a grandparent type place to go.
Or birthdays, but okay.
Yeah.
My mom and dad.
And so, like, they said, like, you got the buffet, and then they're like, oh, do you want 99 cents more? You get a steak. And I'm like, can I have a steak, Grandpa? He's like, oh, sure. It was a hamburger. It was a mashed up hamburger. I was like, this is ridiculous. So
Hector just dropped some knowledge on you, man. He said you need to put this on your seating.
Yes.
May was USA national champ, 4th at Tulsa, 7th at Super 32.
Yes, I will take that. I will take that into consideration. It's one of those things that I'll vet it, and like obviously the separation's not final, and the guys like that are ones you gotta double check and see if they qualify for the other criteria. So yeah, definitely. I know he's pretty tough, and Madison had a Pondo and a Pizza Hut buffet. Wow. Fort Wayne still has them. Fort Wayne has lots of Pizza Huts.
We have Pizza Huts. We just don't have the buffet anymore. You guys still have the buffet? Like the salad bar? It's not really a buffet. It's a salad bar.
Yeah. Well, no, we had buffets and stuff, but I'm sure it's going to a little bit slowed down now that the COVID. They frown upon frown upon buffets in the COVID era.
Yeah, I stopped going to. Just a quick story. We're at 48. I know people don't like to ramble, but I had to stop going to buffets when I was like 19. I watched a kid like grab a scoop of like chocolate mousse and put it in his mouth. I said, never again, never again. I'm turning into Howard Hughes over here.
Yes, nice. No, buffets are not my thing either. So 148. Got
148.
We only have 20 state level guys, so it's a little bit lower weight class. Good. Got Caillou Larkin from Arizona. Obviously, like I said, he's going to be pretty tough. He finished second at high school nationals, which I assume would have been like freshmen's. I don't know, but he's going to be pretty good. I think he might be in some national rankings. I'm not 100% positive. So, but you got Micah Hanu from Michigan, Matt Kuntz, Hayden Watson. Watson was originally registered at 41, so he might be doing the.
On the stud sheet on Indiana Met, you have Micah and Mitch Hanu. Are they both state champs? Or is that just a misprint, or is that real?
That might be a misprint.
Okay.
That might be why I've had some issues there. Yeah. Let's go check it out. Yeah. Oops, wrong thing. I have all the wrestlers in here, so. Yeah, it's only Micah. There's only one.
Okay.
Yeah, Jackson Hoover, third. Scott Burke. You got Eli Chacon. I think he told me how to pronounce it, and I totally messed it up. He was a fourth place finisher.
Chacon. I think it looks good.
You got Gabe Phillips, Landon Bowe. A couple late guys in there, I know. Should be some good wrestling there. Definitely interested to see the Larkin kid. Kuntz obviously is pretty tough, and he will headlock you. Also,
yeah,
he's not afraid to headlock anyone, whether you're ranked or not.
Yeah, that was a while. It doesn't matter. And then Javon Estrada, that's a kid. Is Indiana. He's in Illinois, 8th place, so he's at Crown Point now. So
Yes.
sometimes the rich get richer, right?
Yeah, so that's one to watch. Good eye on that one. As far as he's in Indiana. See how he's going to do. He's going to wrestle some good kids here. Not as many, not too Indiana heavy with state qualifiers and placers, but some good guys in there. And we got Gabe Phillips, Ethan Kaiser,
So Chris Duke said Gavin Brown, number 5 on Flow.
Gavin Brown. Yes, that's one of the late guys that came in. Actually, this weight class is loaded with late guys. I know Chacon, Bo, and Brown were all late entries in the petition process. So
I know there was another Phillips, but man, I feel like Gabe Phillips has been in high school for 7 years.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and I think there's still like a couple more coming through. Yeah, that's the type of name that just sits around forever. It seems like. Yeah, so 155. That should be another great weight class. We got 22 guys here. Ty Lehman, state champ from Kentucky, who's pretty tough from everything I've heard. Juwan Anderson had a great run last year. Douglas Terry, state runner-up from Ohio. Jaden Reynolds he's always tough. Riley Rust, Brock Ellis.
Little rematch action?
Yes, that should be interesting there. They might be, they're going to be real close. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're going to be 5, 6. Unless someone moves out. They could be 4 or 5 seeds and run into each other again. Jay Conway, Anthony Walker, Aiden Hardcastle, Evan Ulrich. I pin him all the time. Tatini from Crown Point, Fitz, Orlando Cruz. Man, this weight class has a lot of Indiana flavor here.
Crown Point's starting to do like the modern day, right? Like you got all those guys. You had Roberson and going in the same way. You're gonna have Tatini and Cruz in this one. You got Fitz and Bowerman. So like, just stack them up.
Yeah,
these could be like in the room wrestle-offs come like 2 months.
Yeah, the Carter Chase kid from Ohio, I bumped up a little bit. Ben Nagel from Colorado. Where's he at? Yeah, he's a Colorado state placer, so he's coming in there. So it'd be interesting to see how he does. A lot of good quality and a lot of different. We got a lot of good Indiana kids that are going to be hitting each other probably in those earlier rounds. So you're going to get a good indication of where these guys are going to be falling in the rankings. So.
Yeah, and just to kind of follow that. I use this tournament a lot, especially with no summer stuff. Like I use this tournament a ton for rankings. Like this is going to give me an idea of kind of where guys are going to be at, or even close, and like where they're going to fall, competition wise. And obviously people have bad days, but like overall, like you're going to have a lot more of an idea of where these guys are at.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be one to keep an eye on. Especially with all these guys. Who just sent me a message? Oh, Mike sent me a message. Somebody sent me a message.
It wasn't me.
It's probably Mike Morgan. Maybe. Anyway, moving up, 163. We have 18 guys ranked. Morgan likes my picture.
Nice.
Oh, Morgan right here.
So I'm sure Troy Hahn does too, man. Look at.
Yes. This is a caption-less picture here, but 163. Got 18 guys. Braden Gioni from Kentucky. Got 3 state champs here, which is pretty good. Brant Whitaker from Missouri, and then Gavin Cagle from Tennessee. Gioni, from what I've heard, is pretty legit. Whitaker was a 3rd placer here last year.
I think someone's in your Kentucky ear, man. Every kid from Kentucky told me so pretty legit from what you hear.
that one's from someone that I trust highly that knows that they're doing. But Kentucky has some good wrestlers, especially their top tier guys. They have some pretty good guys, and obviously they won 2 titles here last year, so that tells you something. Cole Hansen from Wisconsin, Hayden Pummel from Ohio. He's overcoming some pretty poor coaching from what I've heard in Ohio. His coach is a guy I wrestled with in college, so and I used to beat up on. Let's see if he's listening, if I get any text. But Tyler Jones who was a state placer last year from Lawrence Central, is back at Warren Central. Just so for our transfer tracker, should have some good guys there. Brody Bauman, Andrew Wilson, Eli Hilger, Cade Law, Robert Major. I believe sounds like he's coming back to Indiana. He was a state qualifier in Illinois. Is that true? Do you know?
I haven't heard.
Okay, so someone was hinting that it sounded like he was coming back to Indiana, so I don't know if that is true or not. Then, yeah, that kind of wraps up. That's a pretty good weight class. I mean, a lot of guys we don't really know, but should be some good wrestling in there. Definitely.
Man, wasn't Andrew Wilson a 32-pounder last year?
Yeah, I believe so, possibly. He put on his COVID. Our new term is going to be the COVID-15.
You got him some COVID 30, bro.
Yeah. He's what did he wrestle last year at the state tournament?
I think he was a ticket rounder at 32.
Yeah, we don't have him. He wrestled 52 in the offseason last year, so he wrestled IHPO at 41, so he might have been back down to 32 during the season. But yeah, definitely, that's a big jump for him. Should be some interesting. I mean, you got Cade Law, who's pretty tough.
Really tough.
Yeah, he didn't make the state finals last year, so he's going to be kind of ready. Fighting, he's wrestling out of the Fight Bar and Wrestling Club. I guess that's from what I've heard. It looks like there's a barn that the Columbus North kids have been practicing at, and they call it the Fight Barn. So sounds like they're getting even tougher down there. Any other comments on 63 other than there should be some good kids from states that we don't get to see very much?
No, I think it's a good opportunity for some of those guys that are state qualifiers in Indiana to make some noise. I mean, obviously Tyler Jones, a guy that came out and made some noise last year, unranked. An unranked guy that went out and got a medal. One of the few that I missed.
Yes, yeah. He's going to be back in that Warren Central room, so that's always a good thing. I know Krulik and Morgan will do a good job with him. And
a lot of those guys, man, they have a really good staff.
Yeah, and they're gonna, those guys all beat up on each other. They like to wrestle the same weight class, so they all like to.
So it's good to get a 63 in there.
Yes,
they love 145.
Yes, definitely. They had like 7 145 pounders last year. It seemed that were real good. So 73, you got Briar Hall jumping up 2 weight classes. He was a runner up here last year.
Man, I was thinking about this the other day too. Wasn't that like the craziest finish to a match? I've never seen anything like that.
I've never seen anything like that either. He couldn't do anything, and it wasn't. Sometimes you see that like with 15, 20 seconds to go, not a minute 45.
Yeah, that was like an awesome match, and then it just like ended like the craziest way. Like I remember thinking like, man, like there was like literally there was nothing he could do. Yeah. And it was just like, this is crazy. Like, you almost want the referee to call stalemate there while the guy's on his back.
Yes. Yeah, no, that was, and the first 4 minutes were just crazy. I mean, real great scrambles. So you're getting excited for that third period. You're like, man, that's going to be even more. So, yeah, you were expecting, another 2 minutes of just fire because obviously third period and Hall's going to, throw everything, including the kitchen sink at him. And then he gets caught in that Turk and just, couldn't do anything. And Kervin wasn't going to do anything. Kervin was just going to sit there, too. He wasn't going to try for the pin, technically. In all honesty, he could have been called for stalling, since he was not working for the pin. If you want to be technical.
Dude, you think at one point someone actually threw a kitchen sink at somebody and that's where that saying came from?
Probably. It probably happened in the region.
I had to ask before about the ride them hard and put them away wet. I didn't know that was a horse riding thing. So
yes, it is. It's a you gotta cool them down so they don't overheat.
Shout out to the Kentucky Derby, man.
Yes. Oh yeah. I didn't even realize it was going on until like Saturday afternoon.
You didn't even have a mint julep and a silly hat. That's disappointing.
I did not. No. So yes. So 173.
You got
Jacob Lee, Michigan.
Lee, Michigan. Nick Ewan from Ohio. Kane Morris, Sam Morrill's state placer. Got some Illinois qualifiers. Brady Welch from Culver. Cody Timmerman. Should be some good guy. Welch is the one that we've kind of been high on and just haven't seen everything that we can out of him. So he's definitely one that is poised to make a breakout this year.
Yeah, I think, when you come in, because he was a 60-pounder back-to-back years, coming in as a freshman at 60 and a sophomore at 60. I mean, those are not, easy weights to break in at,
Yeah.
You're wrestling a little bit more, physically mature kids. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was a state semifinalist this year.
Yeah, definitely. So you got some Michigan and Kentucky state qualifiers in there. So definitely, pretty solid weight class up top. Briar Hall, he's obviously, I know he lifts weights from what it sounds like. What was he, a 26-pounder his freshman year? 26,
yeah.
45, 52, 73. So he's gone up 20 pounds each year. So
very good.
Yeah, he definitely.
I did that too. It's not as impressive.
Yes. So it should be a good weight class there. 183, 85. Yep, 8 guys. Starting to get a little thinner. Obviously, a lot of these guys are starting to play football. One to watch, Drake Buchanan, had a real good state series. You got Ray Aribulu from Illinois. Noah Duke was a third placer from Kentucky. Gavin Layman's pretty tough. Johnny Parker. You got Mitchell Broski. I believe he has a little bit of a bump. Where are we at? 183. No, he does not. But a lot of solid kids here. Even for a bigger weight class, there's going to be some good matches for those guys with 8 state qualifiers in here.
Nelson said they want to do a CIA versus Right Way versus Contenders Club coaches duel.
Nice.
Right, the coaches are going to wrestle each other?
Ooh, that'd be fun. CIA's picked up Nelson and Leidy. I don't think that's fair.
I mean, Brandon Wright was competing at a high level not that long ago.
Yes. Yeah, Wright won a U.S. Open title. He was
yeah,
he's pretty good. Morgan saying they need royalties.
So, they want to wrestle the coaches. I'm not Contenders does a really good job, but I don't know if Parrish is gonna win the U.S. Open.
No.
That's not being disrespectful, right?
No. You gotta, yeah. Oh, so you notice how they're not including the RWA. Yeah, conveniently they're not including Alex Sursis.
No, yeah, you can get Alex. You
got Andre.
Jason was there for a little bit. Yeah, Andre.
Yeah, that would be yes. It's interesting. Nelson kind of conveniently left them guys out. Yes, that'd be some good duels. It'd be good to. I know there's a dual tournament. I don't know. It's coming up in a few weeks, I guess. I don't know exactly when it is. Might be October-ish. Down in Indy, team duel. So that should be pretty good. Kind of interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, they used to do the Battle of the Academies, right? They don't do that anymore. Didn't they do that one year?
I think they were supposed to have it one year, but never got off the ground. I think it got canceled. It'd be kind of fun though. It'd be good to see.
They don't want my guy Red Cobra.
Oh, yeah, you got Chad Red too. Yeah, and Red just picked up a good assistant guy. I think it's Cam Kelly. I think he's an IHPO placer that wrestled at Illinois or Ohio. Ohio University. So full throttle. There you go. So yeah, should be some good ones. Anyway,
Rick Buchanan to be interesting. I think he's really improved over the last couple of years. Gavin Layman's got a guy that's kind of fought the injury bug a little bit. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Real good kid, man.
Yeah,
he's had some real bad injury luck. I know, his freshman year he broke his collarbone in the preseason. His sophomore year had a really good Al Smith, and then I think he broke his hand or something there. So he's had some real bad injury bugs.
Yeah, should be some good wrestling there. 198 Yeah, Joe Bronigal from Illinois was a state champ there. Levin Rodriguez from Kentucky was a third placer. He looks pretty big. He just tweeted that he's coming to IPO. Obviously, Connor Barkett, Josh Howell, and Matt Lepper.
Connor Barkett's big too, man.
Yeah, should be some interest. Couple solid Indiana guys there that are kind of were state qualifiers and probably going to be ones on the looking to be a semifinalist or finalist this year.
Joe Bronigal, did his brother won it?
They were runner ups. He had two brothers. I think they did not win. One lost to Yorktown kid. I would say Yorktown kid that's at Army, but it's 60-pounder.
Cale McCormick?
No, not McCormick. The one that Brad Laughlin. He lost to Laughlin. Bronigan's brother.
Do they wrestle at Illinois now? The Bronicles are at Illinois?
Yes. So yeah, they're so he's going to be pretty tough. I'm sure they're both like really short and stocky. I assume he's going to be pretty big too. So it should be a good weight class there, especially a little bit of Indiana flavor there. Kind of seeing where those guys have improved and where they're going to kind of slot this year at 195, which kind of 95 looks like it might be a little bit of an open weight class, especially with the Bates looking like he's going to stay up at 220.
Yeah. Did you put Lepper last because Rocco beats him all the time?
No, it's alphabetical.
I'm just joking.
And I beat him all the time. I mean, I stepped on the mat, pinned him like 6 times last week. It was embarrassing.
Well, I see every time on Snapchat Rocco saying he can beat him all the time. So this is.
Yeah, it's he's pretty tough, and he's gonna keep. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing him wrestle some good competition. I know he's pretty hungry. So, 220 going to be another good weight class. You got Evan Bates, returning champ, state champ, Ethan Westfall, and then you got another COVID 40 with Christian Roman from Bloomington South up to 220.
That's a good jump.
Yes. Dylan Duncan from Kentucky, Clay Ours, Logan Shepard, and Mason Cover from Ohio. Let's see if they got any separation. I think nope. I kept them all the same. So yeah, definitely. I mean, the Roman and Bates should be an interesting match. That could be a state finals match. Roman was right there with all the top guys. He beat the 2 guys in the finals last year. So, so that tells you he could be a state champ. So that's going to be interesting to see if he stays up there after that match, or if he kind of comes down. Depends on how big he is.
It's a big jump.
Yeah, that's a big jump, and you're going after a nationally ranked guy like Bates, so that's pretty good. Should get a good gauge on that this week. Heavyweight, not quite as deep, but it has some pretty solid guys. You got Braden Erb, who had a great year last year. Probably come in ranked probably 2nd or 3rd, I assume.
Pretty high, for sure.
Yes. Zach Stray from Kentucky, who's state 5th. Ben Kwolzowski from Wisconsin, who's a 6th place finisher. You got Jacob Johnson from Franklin. Coach Tante is always going to have some good heavyweights. And then a couple state qualifiers from Kentucky and Ohio. So I figured Herb. I didn't think Herb would be wrestling in this because I assume maybe he plays football, but I know he's had some injuries, so I don't know if he does or not. And some of these guys they don't care. They'll come wrestle. So should be a good weight class there.
Yeah, I think heavyweight's always pretty interesting. You always have. I mean, for the like a 3-year span, you had like Cassiope there, like kind of wrecking shop. So.
Yeah, well, Cassiope wrestled a pretty good guy from Illinois or Wisconsin, one of Pearson's kids that was nationally ranked. They wrestled
like Clay Coleman or something.
Yeah, he's at Minnesota now. He was at North Carolina, but yeah, that's always had in the last 2 years they had the same 2 guys met in the finals who were both pretty solid guys. I can't remember what their names are or who they wrestled, but they're pretty solid wrestlers.
And I called that match.
Yes. But should be some pretty good matches here, even at the bigger weights. So yeah, man, we've gone for quite a while.
Yeah, I actually went into this saying like let's just do 1 hour. Like I'm not so up for this today. Like when you were like, hey, you want to do Guerrilla Radio. I was like, sure, ha 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 ha, like we were joking, and then you're like, tweeted it out, doing Guerrilla Radio tonight. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, no, the people have spoken. They want more of this, and I definitely want to do more. It's just there hasn't been much to talk about, unfortunately. So I definitely am eager to get things going. I'm glad we're able to have the event, and hopefully people understand and give our staff a break when doing everything. We're gonna try to make everything as smooth as possible for the event. So
I didn't think, yeah. So like, just break Joe's balls a little bit, just a little bit.
yes, I'm not stressed enough. Don't worry.
He used to have hair.
Yes.
Oh man, you know who else Nelson can invite? Midwest Training Center, man. You don't want Chris Flieger there?
Oh yeah, exactly.
You don't want Chris Flieger there? All right.
Let's see who did Nelson forget? Alex Sursis,
Yeah.
Chad Red, which Red, I think he wrestled at Indianapolis.
Howard Coughlin.
Yeah. Yes. Howard Coughlin. Oh, geez. Mysteriously, those guys were left off, and then you miss Flieger. Oh, geez. You don't want to mess with Flieger. Flieger's an animal. He's the one that probably would still. He might be the meanest one of them all.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even think it's a question. I think he is.
Yes. I'm glad he's not technologically savvy to watch these then.
Who, Flieger?
Yeah.
No, man. We just give compliments.
Yes. Yeah. No.
What's the dude from down there? I think he wrestled in Kentucky. I think he wrestled at IU. He has a club down there too.
It's not the Invicta guy. It's Spatola.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty tough.
Yeah. So you're missing a couple guys.
Yeah, amazingly, we're gonna have to talk to Nelson about that. So, yeah, definitely interesting. A lot of guys. I'm glad to see football's going. I know some people talk about Bobby Babcock having a good. He committed to I want to say like Illinois State or something.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah,
Hoover's got a couple. A lot of their guys were dual sport athletes, doubling up football and wrestling. So I know they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, should be some. Be good to see. It's nice to see some football players or some wrestlers on the football field doing well. So I know there's some.
A couple of Maryville guys up top.
Yeah, and Maryville might have got a couple of transfers from I want to say like the schools that shut down football, didn't they?
Yeah, I know they're supposed to go. I didn't see that they rolled them in eligible or not, but I know they had like 5 kids from Morton, like 2 at like Division I offers. So, like I said, man, rich get richer. Like those guys want to go play with guys that are taking it serious, and Maryville's been doing really well in the region. I mean, Indianapolis obviously does a good job. We had to see Brownsburg on TV. I'm watching, Jones out there playing tight end. This monster. This monster of a child out there playing tight end.
Yeah, and then Isaiah Streets was having he was on the field.
Dude, Isaiah Street is a monster on the D-line. He was in the backfield every play.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to watch.
Isaac Canadian, yeah.
Yeah, yes. You said something about that game. I forgot it was on. So I started watching it. Man, that last quarter was crazy.
What was he? He's number 51. If you go back and watch it, dude, he's like in the backfield every play.
Yeah, no, it's cool to see. I know Coach Snyder's not going to shed a tear for those guys having good football careers and seasons. So, and Leighton Jones is getting big. He's always been big.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask him when the last time he was under 100 pounds. I asked Reed that one time and he couldn't remember. He found out that it would be at least first or second grade.
Leighton Jones out there playing tight end, like ultra athletic, catching tutties, like that's wild, man.
Yeah, definitely. I always like to see those guys having all the football. I know the Northeast Indiana guys. You always look at their they had like a breakdown of the top guys in the area, and you saw some guys that wrestlers or semi-state or state level guys, and it translates pretty well. So it's always fun to see, and just glad to see some football and some stuff going on, and that bodes well for wrestling coming up in a couple months.
Oh yeah.
So it makes me have confidence that we're gonna have a wrestling season and things will be as normal as we can at this point in the time.
I mean, you never know, but hopefully, you want that little bit of consistency in your life. I think that's one of those things a lot of people look forward to, and when you start taking when that kind of stuff goes away, it's sad.
Yeah, I can't. I'm just glad I was not a spring sport coach because I don't know. You don't know how do you tell kids that they're not going to have a season? They can't do anything, and scholarships on the line, and it was hard enough. I had a whole plan. I had this whole document with all the events we're going to go to. Disney, we're going to some other event, Freestyle State and all that stuff, all on this list. I had this 20 events and then nothing. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, we were in that group text. It was sad because you got a guy like Howie Cotty in there. That's kid. This is his last run. He wanted to do Disney. He wanted to do all that stuff, and you see that you're not able to do that.
Yeah, definitely, and you feel bad. I mean, this off season's really good for those juniors going into seniors, especially in Indiana where you don't. One of the things I know, Jesse's said, why do you go to all those events? Why do you go to who's number one then Super 32s? Like, because I don't get to see that competition during the season because of our travel rules. So guys that are just kind of starting to make a breakout need those events to kind of get noticed, and then so they're kind of getting they're on the radar. So hopefully we can have a Super 32 and they can get noticed there.
We were just talking about that at our fantasy draft. A guy like Graham Calhoun, who got a Division I, Big Ten, offer. He was out wrestling those events. He's getting seen at that kind of stuff. I not to say they're not, but I don't know if they're going to like a Plymouth, Thursday night duel.
Yeah, no, they're not gonna go see Plymouth and East Noble wrestle. I mean, and it's especially during the season.
Plymouth versus Culver, and even though you get to hang out with the great Chad Holland, huh?
Yes, yeah, the Plymouth Culver match, that wouldn't be too exciting.
No, but that's a guy that's going out and getting a scholarship based on like what he's doing like in the summers.
Yeah, Calhoun's one that he wrestled in every tournament possible.
Joe Walker, right?
Yeah.
Joe Walker didn't really make that big splash till his senior year. He was already committed with Michigan.
Yeah, he had a good Super 32. Wrestled well at some other tournaments. Yeah.
Beat Jacob Kovac at U23s.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's big. So, yeah, an NCAA qualifier when you're in high school, that's pretty impressive. So, yeah, definitely. Hopefully, sounds like been talking to Super 32 people. They're going to do everything they can to have the event. They're looking at, people are probably wondering. They're looking at changing venues, changing dates, changing everything they can do to have the event because they obviously want to have it. They want to have everyone wants to have a wrestling event. So it's one of those things that I think they're going to make an announcement later in the week, from what it sounds like, once they get a little bit more clearance or not clearance from the state of North Carolina. Their states kind of just goes back and forth on what they're doing, so they've been pretty frustrated with everything. Are we going to open? Are we going to close? Are we going to do? What are you going to do? And they're kind of going back and forth. So luckily, we've stayed the same, at least consistently the same. So that bodes well for us, having our event and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy watching those Governor Holcomb addresses. He's very animated with his hands.
Yes. And you get to see Jennifer McCormick every time.
I know, man. little wrestling shout out in there every time.
Yeah. So I know she follows Indiana Matt and always likes watching wrestling. So, but any other, I guess, comments on IHPO? If you can't, obviously, since we have limited attendees, we will be streaming it live, $14.95, unless you have the Track Wrestling Gold package. So, but if you get a super gold package, whatever, you get it for free. Obviously, you already paid for it, but so if you guys want to watch at home, sit on your couch, have a cold beverage, have your wife bring you sandwiches.
Man, I made my whole family sandwiches today. It's pretty good. Some grilled cheese.
Nice.
But no, I think that's a cool event. Like if obviously you want to be there live. It's a little tough to follow when you're there live, especially with everything going on. But like if you're at home, like you can track it on your phone. go on track and see, okay, like mat number 4, you're going to have, whoever, if you want to see May versus one of these top guys, a guy that's coming in with some pretty high praise, then you can go, slide to that mat 3 and watch it live, which is pretty cool. And it's a lot easier for me to follow for the rankings, and, you get to keep it forever. Your password never expires.
Yeah, definitely. And everything's archived, obviously, within a few minutes. So you get to, if you do miss that match, you can go back. Or if you want to rewatch something like, man, how did he win that match?
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like, you get a lot of buys during the when it's live, and then you get a lot of buys at like the sectional semi-state time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's
it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. If you remember, Indiana Mat this tournament was the first tournament that actually live archived a wrestling event so we will always hold that distinguishment. So, anything else we want to talk about before I go to bed and have a wonderful week of stress and answering emails and all that fun stuff?
Nope. Hopefully everyone had a nice Labor Day, got to relax. I mean, that's what it's about, trying to relax, take a little time off from work, but, enjoy, go out there, wrestle hard. The guys that are, not on these lists that we talked about tonight and you feel slighted, go out there and make an impact, man. I mean, this is the tournament to do it. There's someone every year coming out of this event that's going to be higher in the rankings than they were before this event. Like someone that's going to come out of nowhere and you're going to be like, oh, man, that guy really wrestled well. I mean, I think the first year, Braden Littell, his freshman year, he knocked off a lot of really tough guys, and I was like, wow, this kid's really good. Obviously, I'm sure he didn't have the career that he wanted with injuries, but leaving that event, I was like, this kid could be a 4-timer,
Who did he kicked? He had a really good.
Brooks, he beat, what was that?
I'm pulling it up right now. He got third. He beat Jose Diaz,
who's really good.
He lost
Even though he had come out like chubby.
Yeah, he lost to Corey Gamet from Michigan, who's pretty good. He beat Wyatt Miller, who doesn't beat Wyatt Miller? Hunter Watts, Luke December from Tennessee is pretty good. Jabin Wright, and he beat Caden Rooks. Yeah, that was a pretty good tournament for him.
Yeah, for a guy that hadn't even stepped foot on a high school mat yet. Yeah. Those are some pretty heavy hitters. It's a lot of medals in there.
Yes, I think that's the year. I'm going to have to look that up. Because I think that's the year one of the Rooks brothers, I think that had been Graham. One of them wrestled like a ton of matches. They got dropped down early and then came back. Yeah. Oh no, Caden was the one. Caden made it the third place match. He was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He wrestled 9 matches that day. He had a pretty good day. He lost to Hassan Johnson from Illinois. He was pretty good.
Yeah, really good. He's at Indiana Tech now also, right?
Yeah, he beat Viduya. He beat a pretty good Ohio kid. Yeah, he's the one that had a pretty good run there. He had 9 matches in one day. You don't want to do that this week. You don't want to lose. And he lost in the 3rd round. So
get your money's worth.
Yes, yeah, you're going to get your $40 worth if you lose it early on. So don't. So, well, anyway, I think, are we good to go?
I'm good, man. Okay. That's all I got, guys. I'm out of jokes.
Yes. Yep.
The jokes are done.
We're going to be, answering emails, and Mike's going to be watching live on his couch this weekend after probably at a softball tournament between.
Yeah, we got a scrimmage. We got a scrimmage going this weekend. So, I always tell Joe, man, we need to move this back one week, a little bit earlier. This is like opening weekend for the NFL, so I'll be out there trying to change my fantasy football lineup.
So you need it Labor Day weekend. We can't do it, especially around here, because they have that car auction that takes up all the hotels. So we cannot do that this weekend. So maybe I don't know. We'll look for something. We'll figure out. I'm kind of interested to see how my session thing works out. It's kind of figuring this out on the fly of how we're going to do this, and hopefully it works. If it does, we might be able to, you know, might be a different way to run a tournament. You know, get guys in and out, and people aren't there all day. You know, no one's gonna complain only having to be there for 4 or 5 hours and be done, wrestle 6, 7 times, and go home. I don't think
Someone
anyone
will
can complain about that.
It's just in their nature, man. Someone will complain.
Yeah, we wrestled too fast. So you want to be here till midnight? Well, no, but okay, then don't quit complaining.
Nah, people love to complain, man.
Yes.
I didn't know if you didn't have social media. I didn't know if you want, like, you know, black out your social media.
Nah, well, we'll do it what we can. I know we're excited to have the event. I know the facility that those people are excited, and they're doing everything they can to have events. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds like a good time, man.
Okay,
Do you have to wear a mask?
Yes.
Just for other people?
Everyone has to wear a mask. Sorry, no one wants to wear a mask, but we have to.
I like wearing masks, honestly, man.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like one of those things. I don't like wearing my seatbelt either. I fucking hate. I really hate wearing. That's a cuss word, man.
That's a first.
Second one in the show.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, you know, it is what it is.
For all the people at home that don't talk to me at tournaments, I cuss a lot. So, what is this? 86?
Yeah, no, that's like 91. I think
91 episodes, 2 cuss words. Not bad.
Yes, the ratio there is.
That's how bad. That's how bad I hate wearing seatbelts, though.
So yes, so now you have Mike's Mike's feelings on seatbelts are very passionate, to say the least. Oh goodness, I don't have a beeper because you don't ever cuss. So
I know I've done a good job. Actually, Kim gave me the side eyes when I said one earlier. I didn't even know. So, I was like, ooh, that's a first. I haven't done that, in 5 years. And then drop that one right there with the get me too riled up, man. I don't want to.
So yes, so yeah. Well, we have our COVID restrictions, unfortunately, and hopefully people understand. In order to have an event, we gotta make a few sacrifices, and it is what it is. It's way above me, so be thankful that we can have an event and wear a dumb mask. And
will you be selling Indiana masks on site?
I do not believe that we will be selling those. I'm not 100% certain what 3-time gear. They're always going to have good stuff. This is from last year. So if you guys find these quarter zips, I think, Mike, you have one of these, don't you?
I have a couple of. I don't have that one.
Okay, I might have an extra one somewhere. But these are like stretchy. They're awesome. They're so comfortable. They have real good gear. They should check them out. They'll have a full line of shirts, gear, and everything, and they'll have a bunch of ISWA stuff since ISWA State got canceled. So they'll have a lot of Indiana stuff, and hopefully they'll make a lot of money with some new guys coming in.
If they were smart, man, they'd be bringing these like nice masks in. Indiana mat.
I know they make masks. I assume they'll probably have some. I just know that the mask business is kind of hard because it's hard to make money on them because you can get so many for, you can get 3 dozen for like $15. So,
but those are people that are looking for cheap, man. Yeah. There's people that want to have,
support the group.
Louis Vuitton purses, man. You just have this regular. There we go again. I'm getting tired, man.
Yeah. So no. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to bring as far as that. I have seen some of the other gear. Obviously, if you guys didn't check social media, Rocco was doing a great job modeling the finalist singlets, which are very, very nice. So, but we're going to get out of here. We're done.
Try to drop another cuss word.
Yes.
Get us kicked off forever.
Yeah, so we get banned from Facebook.
Someone just reported us. Facebook, please.
Yes, great. We're going to go in Facebook jail with Artie.
Yeah. I know, man. Whoever put Artie in Facebook jail, I want you to know you're a bad human being.
Yes. That's my only entertainment during the day. Come on.
Man, you got to get some TJ McMurray in there. You got to get some Artie Fowler. AJ Fowler stepping up his meme game. Strong. Pretty strong. He's like a young Jedi.
Yeah. So yeah, well, yeah. Maybe we need to have our day. We need to have a segment where we just suggest people to be friends with on Facebook, so you can for good memes and funny stories.
Yeah, pretty good.
So anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Nice seeing everyone. We'll see a lot of people this weekend, and have a safe travels to Fort Wayne.
Bye.